I try my best not to count myself out because of my race or that I'm a woman or what have you. Like, business is to make money, right? So if you're making money and you can be yourself, then do that. And it's a privilege to be able to do that, to be yourself. I went on a show called Gordon Ramsay's Future Food Stars. I was like, I'm gonna win. Like, I knew I was gonna win.
Let's get straight into it.
Okay.
Introduce our guest, our esteemed guest of the day. We got Victoria, CEO and founder of Sunmo, in the building. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for
joining
having
us.
me,
No,
guys.
thank you.
Thank you for joining us. One thing we always ask our guests straight off the rip is what is their bread and butter. So just give people very high level. We're going to get into it. Give the people, what is your bread and butter? What puts food on the table for Victoria?
Yes. So my bread and butter is my business, Sunmo, of course, which I'm very grateful for, because for a long time it wasn't paying me any money. It was just a grind without the financial outcome. So Sunmo, we have a range of snacking products. So we started off with our hero product, which is our plantain crisps, which I knew would be something that the culture can relate to. It relates to me. As an entrepreneur, I'm sure many entrepreneurs, we've tried a number of things before.
Yeah, of
so
course.
I've got a history in property and trying to open a bakery and all of this stuff, and I found that, you know what, let me find something that relates to me, and that also I know can be mass market. So we launched with the plantain crisps into retail. We launched in Selfridges, Whole Foods Market, Sainsbury's with them, and then I knew, okay, this is our hero product, but the brand needs to expand to reach a mass market. So we then created a sweet potato puff, and that was our initially in Sainsbury's. It overtook our plantain crisps in sales. Wow. There's a whole story. The food industry is crazy. It overtook our plantain crisps in sales, and then our manufacturing. If you speak to many food entrepreneurs, it's typically manufacturing that lets you down. But our manufacturing was problematic. Anyway, so Sunmo, we've started off with a snacking brand, and then I went on a show called Gordon Ramsay's Future Food Stars, which is like apprentice style. The winner wins the investment. And so for £150,000 from Gordon, and got through and won the show, and then got the money. And he was like, do you know what? I want you to go into drinks. I've never limited Sunmo's brand product range, and drinks was something I did consider, but it wasn't something on the cards right then, because we was like, okay, snacks. So I was thinking maybe a bar or like another snacky product, healthy snack product. So he was like, no, let's do drinks. So I explored the market, and it's actually the largest market within, like, for your fast moving consumer goods food, powdered drinks. There's like some billion unicorn brands in there. So we've launched a drinks powder, which is a healthy drinks powder. We've got a balanced green, a berry burn, and a collagen protein. And that's bread and butter right now.
Wicked.
Wow.
There's a lot that we can go into there. So much. So I know I was wanting to speak about something previously, which was what we were talking about, but talk to me about starting it, because you mentioned that for a long time you weren't making any money off it. And like you say, as an entrepreneur, I feel like every single week I remember something that I used to do.
Yeah, honestly.
Something that I used to try, basically.
Yeah.
So what did that look like? When you started Sunmo, you would have done things previously that didn't work. What made you think that, you know what, I'm going to carry on in this?
So I'm one of the entrepreneurs who had a passion for it from like secondary school. I was like, I don't even want to. I'm very good at maths. My mum's a maths teacher, so she must have been like speaking algebra to me in my sleep or something. So like that was just like, okay, everyone wants me to go and do physics or computer science or something because I was good at maths. And then but after secondary school, I was like, no, I'm not going to college. Like, I'm actually not going to uni. You can't make me. So I went with my friends to like the open days or whatever. And then one teacher was like, no, you have to go to, like, with your GCSEs, you have to go to college. So I was like, okay, fine. I want to do drama. I was like, I need to do something fun. If I'm going to go college, I want to do something fun, entertaining. So I signed up for drama and I think like maths or something, one of them subjects. And he was like, he just cancelled it. And he was like, no, you're doing maths, further maths, physics. And I think it was like psychology or something. So did all of that. So had a passion for entrepreneurship, and then I went into did go to college, did go to university, studied accounting and finance, but I would always do something on the side because that passion was always there. So I started off with property, which I got into because my brother's friend did property, and he, knowing that I was someone who liked to help, he just like called me up and was like, can you check out these properties for me? He wants to do like rent to rent. I was like, oh, okay, what's this? Curious. And then he told me all about it. It needs to be in the right location, close to a station, all of this stuff. So I think, first year of uni, and I was like, okay. Then I started calling up estate agents for my own ones because I had some savings. So I was like, okay, I want to do rent to rent. I had no clue about, convincing landlords, all of that, but I was just determined to get one. And then I think I got about 2 or 3 rent to rents, and that paid my way through uni. So that was like my first entrepreneurial thing. Then dealing with tenants got overwhelming for me. I was like 21, 20. Dealing with tenants got overwhelming. So I just started giving the properties back to the landlords, and they're like, it's university season, don't give it back. I was like, sorry, this is too much. I do wish I continued that, but that was like my first endeavor into entrepreneurship.
Just to give people context, so what were you doing? You were renting a property off a landlord
in
your uni city.
Yes.
Whilst you're in uni, so renting off a landlord and then renting it room by room to other students?
Renting it room by room to students and working professionals.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I went to Queen Mary, so I was in London anyway.
Okay, yeah.
So I had some people who went to like Queen Mary or London unis, and then others were just working professionals, singers working in the city type of thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
So in some cases, you were a student and you were effectively collecting rent from other students.
Yeah.
As well, which is kind of mad.
I know.
So that kind of led on to you doing other things, yeah? So tell us about that.
So rent to rent helped me buy my first car, do all of that type of stuff. And then what did I do next? From there, I actually moved into one of the properties that I was renting. I had this passion to open a bakery. I like cooking, so I started baking, trying to sell it. It was just a grind. It was like, it didn't make any money. So I'll make cupcakes for people or what have you, but I realized that I want to do something scalable. And with baking or cupcakes, it's like you make it and then you have to sell it within 3 days or so. So it's just no shelf life. It's very hard. It's very quick turnarounds. Too customizable. Everyone's asking for this sprinkle or all of these different
flavors.
I
don't want this in here. I don't want that in here. Yeah.
So it was just too much, and it didn't match the big vision I had as an entrepreneur to really scale it.
Can you explain, like, when you say scale it, why? Obviously, we understand that, but for those listening at home, why is it so important to scale? Because I think, especially like in our community, like we have one person businesses, and it's definitely like one to one or business to customer or business to business, as opposed to something that's digital asset or something that is a product that you can actually, it doesn't necessarily need you.
Yeah.
Like, talk to us about that, because again, I think we like the business where we are the business, because then you can post yourself and you're the entrepreneur, you're the face, you get the fame, and there's that kind of gratification that you get from being the face of a business and I'm an entrepreneur. But actually the real money is in things that can be scaled, that maybe no one even knows who owns it.
Yeah, that's it.
We use it on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that was the goal. So my idea of scalability is that, it operates without you, essentially. And then also, especially with the baked goods can operate without you. But it's so obviously, like, I had a passion for hairdressing. I did a bit of hairdressing, made some money, but again, it's like your skills being used for you know, if you're not doing the hairdressing yourself or maybe hiring a couple of hairdressers, you can't make money. So I was like, okay, products, you can get a manufacturer, you can scale it up. And I would say you can make money as a bakery for sure. I just knew it took a lot of investment. And I would say entrepreneurship takes believing in yourself and being in the right rooms. And right then, as a student, I didn't think anyone would give me money to really like open up 2-3 bakeries, and I couldn't raise that money myself, you know, like working at the time. So I was like, what can I do from where I am that can be scalable? And that doesn't require me to produce products and with such a short shelf life. But yeah, scalability is so important because I always knew that I don't want to trade my time for money. And then I also want something that it can be global. It has a global appeal. It can be outsourced. And I essentially, that even now, there's a bigger vision that I have to build a product that is more like a marketplace, or it's a business to business type of platform. And with AI and all of the advancements in technology, there's so much opportunity in entrepreneurship. And I think within our community, there are some game changers like already. Like we've got Timothy Amu. I think he sold for like 8 figures or something, and he gives great advice on entrepreneurship. I think that obviously there are a lot of us who are doing, I guess, lifestyle businesses, hair, baking and things like that, and it's great. It's fantastic. I think it's needed, but then we also need that scalable. We're going to sell to the big brands, we're going to sell to business to business, we're going to sell globally type of businesses within our community as well, I would say.
Yeah, super important. And it kind of, you had the right idea, because you kind of have to know that from the outset. You got to know that you're building something that you can be taken away from it. I think it's equally important to build a personal brand, but we're seeing a really, really nice hybrid nowadays whereby it's like someone will have their personal brand that does like speaking engagements, and it will say founder of their company, but a company is still in itself doesn't need them. It doesn't require them to be a major marketing head or whatever it may be, basically. So I think we're seeing a lot of good examples of that. But yeah, scalability is definitely something, and it's something that I guess it's that next level of business, isn't it? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Because a lot of businesses that are operating today, like you mentioned, are great, but they will hit capacity, if that kind of makes sense. And when you hit capacity, it's kind of like, what's next? So it's always good to have those kind of like scary goals. And you mentioned one of your goals, which is like a business-to-business marketplace.
Oh, yeah.
Can we dig into that a little bit? What does that look like?
Oh, I was speaking to a friend about it. So I haven't actually solidified an idea, but as you know, someone who, I don't see myself as, you know, just one business founder, probably not at the same time, but I definitely as we are as humans, we always, you know, live how many years now, there's definitely other things we've delved into, right? So I've delved into coding and tech and the renewable space whilst I was at university. So those are all things like in my back pocket that I do enjoy and that I'm passionate about, that I haven't really turned into a business aspect, but that I see potential, especially with what has come and what has been developed. So I'm like, okay, I obviously speak to my friends who work in tech and things like that, and we always discuss, they know me as just that business person, and then they're the tech people, and they're like we're gonna have a business together at some point that I guess integrates the two. What the idea is right now, it will come. It will come.
Yeah, no, of course. You can't rush these things. They come naturally, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You spoke about, I want to get into your TV bits, because that's kind of like, I guess, where publicly, especially for someone like me, and that's even how I met you, right? That kind of put you out there. But regarding the new products that you're looking to launch, let the people know about them, and I want to know as well, basically, because I guess for me, as a Nigerian, your hero product is always going to be my, like, I'm always plantain chips. But it'd be good to hear in a bit more depth what other lines you've got and what you've got coming.
Yeah, so we have our first drinks powder range is our Balance Green. So that is a healthy drinks powder that gives you energy. You can use it for good skin, for overall health and nutrition essentially, and that's our balanced green. So that sells really well. It's more so we was always a retail focused brand, and then around the pandemic time is when we moved to D2C, and with a D2C game, it's
Direct to customer, right?
yeah, direct to consumer. And
Consumer, look at me. Fresh.
Customer, consumer, it's all the same. Don't worry,
It's
not
the
gay.
same.
It's all the same.
Yeah, it still sounded fresh. I said direct to customer. Yeah, go on.
no, it's the same. So yeah, so direct to consumer, you need high margins. So the great thing about those products is they're very high margin, and they obviously provide benefits. So the supplement space online is like a great space to be in.
Yeah.
So that's where we're working in, and it's like it gives you energy, helps you with like your overall nutrition. I've personally used some of the ingredients myself, so I know they work. And then we have a berry burn, which is good for weight management. It helps with appetite suppressant. It's got things like apple cider vinegar, caffeine in it, which really helps you feel energized so you don't feel so hungry. And then also we have a collagen protein, which is really good for your skin, hair and nails. People always ask me like, Vicky, are these your, and it's probably like a female thing. I'm talking to two guys, but
No.
my girlfriends, they'll ask me, oh, are those your real eyelashes? Da, da, da. And I swear by supplements. I'm like, yeah, they actually are, because of the supplements that I take. Like it actually works. So we've got our collagen protein, which is really good for like your skin, hair and nails. And I think the great thing about it is it gives you the results you want.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we got.
I want to learn a bit about business decisions, because or business decisions that you made, because Sunmo was originally snacking.
Yes.
You won the show,
Yes.
and Gordon Ramsay says, "I reckon you should do drinks."
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a business mentor for you.
Yeah.
Like you got his number and stuff in it.
Yeah.
Crazy. What does that look like for you? Because you had no plans to do that. Like, how does that?
Yeah. So
What was that decision making like?
do you know what? So so it was in the final, he said, they give you a brief. So they tell you, you know, we want you to develop this, this and this. And they gave us 3 finalists different briefs. They was like, okay, Gordon told me, I want you to show that you can work with the big boys, that you can scale. And I was like, okay, great. I've been thinking about developing a chocolate bar and things like that, like a healthy chocolate bar. I'm going to do that. This is what I love, product development. That's my bag. Then they was like, no, we want you to do a drink. So it was very... like it was very new to me. I was like, okay, I don't know where am I even gonna start, right? It's very set in stone, so you can't like adapt it. I did ask, can we try something else? But obviously he knows, maybe he's got a huge research team as well. So they've definitely seen the market and been like, that's probably the reason why he's like, okay, this brand, we see that it will blend well with this direction in the market. And then, yeah, he asked me to do it. So I worked with the people who make innocent smoothies, drinks on the show. Okay. So it was a great team to develop products, and they tasted really good. We launched it in Covent Garden at this, like, what do they call it? Like a store that had all the Sunmo branding and, you know, concept store. Yeah. And then, I was like, okay, cool. Went home, and it was just a pivot moment, which can be a bit different because I've been working on snacking products for so many years. That change was an adjustment I had to make. I had to get up to speed with what are my competitors, what's the size of the market, you know, what's the potential here, how do I market to customers, what's the customer base, all of that. So it was a big adjustment to make, but I was like, okay, once I saw the potential, I was like, okay, this makes sense. And then I was just like, let me just keep on going with it, type of thing.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Like, I guess going back, like, what even gave you the audacity to apply for the show? Like, because you already had a brand, you're already doing all right. Yeah. What made you say, okay, yeah, I'm gonna apply for this show? Yeah. Like, what made you want to do that?
Yeah. So, well, obviously, I think I'm a big believer of you can do anything you put your mind to. Like, nothing's inherently too hard. If another human being has done it, it's just about the dedication you put into doing it to be able to achieve it. So when I saw the application, I think there's a number of things. I'm a black woman, you know, this is a white man, we're in a white country, there's all of these like stereotypes, whatever. That was, I guess, my blocker, thinking, okay, would they take me seriously as a black woman? Is it going to be like the diversity card if I got on the show? All of that stuff. So at first, when I applied, I was thinking I would just be on as the diversity hire type of thing. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll get on the show based on that. And I had the audacity just because I think my team, I'm so grateful for the people around me. Like every time I've achieved something, getting into Selfridges, getting into Sainsbury's, is people gassing me like, what? You did this at uni, you can do that. Like, remember when you pitched? Yeah, you can do that. And I'm like, okay, cool, I can do it. So I'll go and pitch to Sainsbury's, Selfridges or whatever. And I'm in the back of my mind, like, I guess playing on my previous wins. I mean, like, okay, if I did that, I can do this. And then I could like catapult it from there. So I kind of had the confidence that I could get on the show based on that. So got on the show and I just had the audacity. But then actually being on the show, we got to the final 12 and I looked around and I like was weighing up everyone's businesses, and we was already in Selfridges, we was already in Whole Foods Market and Sainsbury's, so we was further ahead. And then my research of the market, I was like, potential for sales and a good investment decision. I was like, I'm gonna win. Like I knew I was gonna win. I was like, if I was gonna invest in someone, it would be me. So I kind of knew. And then I was just like, okay, it just takes me to show, because there's two things. It's, have you got a great business idea, but are you the right person to invest in? So then I knew that, okay, I had to kind of show Gordon that I was hardworking and the right person, relatable. It's like, if you guys get along as well, for him to want to invest in me as well.
What was it like getting along with him? What's he like? Is he obviously the stuff that he does is for TV, and he acts like a maniac. Like sometimes the adverts go on like Amazon Prime, and I'm like, bruv, this guy is.
Yeah. Do you know what? I respect it so much. Having like delved into the TV space, building that character for yourself is so important. But it is a character. He's so lovely. He's a family man.
Yeah, I clock that as well.
Like he's passionate, which makes sense, because especially in the restaurant space, everyone's so critical. You put too much salt, it's like they want to send back plates of food. So he has to be very attention to detail orientated. So if you, as someone who's working for him, isn't, then he's like, come on, like we need to. So I think that's why chefs are very, quite aggressive in that sense. But he does on the show when we worked at the Savoy Grill, he did get angry, and I think that came from a genuine place. Like I don't think it was like just for show.
But the service was poor. I don't know. I watched that season. I watched the whole thing.
I just watched the clips. It's just too funny.
I watched it live. Me and my wife, we love them type of shows. So I watched it.
It was so bad.
You lot was terrible.
That was my worst week.
This is man's thing. Imagine your name is on the door.
Yeah.
The food's coming late. The thing's cold. The thing's not done properly. People waiting for time, taking orders. It was bad.
I'm not gonna lie. That was my worst. I thought I was out that week.
Yeah, I was praying. You get invested. It was you. And then there's the other lady as well, where like does the fashion and glasses.
Bola.
But her energy was. I've met her now. She's actually a lovely person.
Yeah,
but on the show,
I met her at the same time I met you. But sorry.
But on the show, I was like, no, she goes out. It's cool because she was beefing everybody.
That's my girl.
I said, Auntie, come on now. But I've met her. She's actually really lovely.
Yeah, she's
in real
amazing.
Life.
Yeah.
But on the show, the way, and again, that can be edited, right? That can be the way they're gonna perceive it. But with you are hardworking, and you could tell you was a nice person. Do you know what I mean? You're trying to get along.
I was trying to.
She was beefing everybody. Do you know what I mean?
I'm not gonna lie though. One thing that's why I look at Black women or even men on TV so differently now, because to say there isn't a microaggression, there is. Like if you're different, it's like cliquey. It can be very cliquey. So I can see when maybe groups of people get along and when they don't now, because they will just not gel with you for no reason.
Yeah.
Like she had a bad time.
Yeah, she did.
the guys that I thought would be cool, they was like taking sides with people that made no sense. Like, you'll throw out a good idea, a no-brainer, like seriously, like, okay, an apple should be whatever, like you should cut an orange before you eat it, like something so simple. And then just because of who's saying it, they would just be like, nah, and then everyone will just jump on the bandwagon. And then I'm just like, no. So then I think, because it happened to me as well, but what worked in my favor is I kept my cool.
Yeah, you did.
And then I would say it even if everyone was against it, and I'll just be like, okay, I've said it. And then Gordon will come and be like, that makes sense, and it will be what I've said. So what worked in my favor was, I was like, I would go against the grain, but it was sensible decisions, but I wouldn't fight anyone. I'll say my piece, and if you want to take it, let's go with it. If you don't, I've said it, and this is what will help us win. So, but with her, it's hard. It's hard to keep your cool. It's hard to keep your cool.
It completely is. And I guess in that particular scenario, it's nice because you make sure, and I think this is an important lesson for everybody actually, you make sure you say your piece and don't worry about the people around you, because at that point, those people are your peers. They're not at where you want to be. The person who's at where you want to be, which is Gordon, has come in and said, well, you don't thought this was a bad idea. But if you kept quiet, it wouldn't have given you like that extra thing in it.
But I love what you said in regards to like what gave you the audacity was the wins that you had before and the people around you. And I think that's something that people at home need to think about, is like actually you can win on your own level. And if you've got the right people around you, they will gas you to get to the next level. Do you know what I mean? Like you're going on this show, but you're saying, right, I've already got into Sainsbury's. I've already got into Selfridges. I've already done these things that a lot of people haven't done. So why can't I be on this show? And then when I get here, wait, so what's your story? Oh no, my story's better than all your story. I'm gonna win. Do you know what I mean? I've done what you got, and it's like that confidence that comes from actually putting in the graft before. Whereas a lot of people are hoping, I'm gonna get on the show. Then once I get on the show, and if I win this show, then I can get into Sainsbury's. But you got into Sainsbury's without winning the show, before there was even a show. You was already in there. Do you know what I mean? And actually, you can achieve these things. But one of the biggest things that you said is the team around you. Like sometimes it's like you've got to create your own bubble. Like that helps you focus on where you're trying to get to. Because sometimes knowing what's going on with the Kardashians or all of that ain't gonna help you get to where you're going. Like or somebody said, oh, you know, I'm having man trouble or this like I'm trying to get to where I'm gonna. If you understand what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to achieve, and you can support that, then that's great. If you can't, then for this period of time, I'm going to have to leave you on the side, and we're going to have to come back and reassess later.
It's important to be around the fire starters. That's why it's so linked to like what you guys have got going on, because you're like similar in terms of like where you are in your journey of life, so you can relate, and then you're both so focused on what you're doing. You like do TV, you both do TV, which is incredible. And you have to have those fire starters. Every time where I've actually got anywhere further, when I analyze, has been when I've got those people who just gas you, and I'll just like, at first, even when you haven't achieved anything, right, or maybe you've achieved some level of something, they would say, okay, remind you of who you are, kind of be like, and then, you know, light your fire for you to go. So I agree with that.
I want to talk about the importance of confidence in business, because you're very confident.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can tell. Even like little things, when she said that I knew I was going to win, but it's calculated, isn't it? You know what you're basing it on. But it's like I knew I was going to win, or even things like when you're talking, you're saying to the team like, no, this just makes sense. Like but you need to be like that in business, right?
You have to, yeah.
Where would you say that has come from? And can you talk to the people at home as well that are listening, and let them know how much of an impact that can have in business as well, just being sure of what you're doing.
Like I think business is mainly just quick decision making. You have to move fast, and you have to, especially when you're like the founder of the business, remember that everyone's looking to you for answers. So whenever you're doing something, you kind of have to be forward thinking, have the confidence in your decisions, of course consult your team, but it really does lie and rest on you. And if it doesn't, people kind of get like, what the heck? Like people get upset, you know, if when there's no direction, like it's not like they'll just be, oh, that's cool. They'll literally get upset with you, like angry with you. So that responsibility is important. Where does confidence come from? I think that I think it's just mainly well, my mum is very like she's very she's very outspoken, she's very confident, and I think I get a lot from her. And then again, I think my support system, all the time, every day, because they would just be there for you. I guess it's like that hierarchy of needs type of thing, where you've got your comfort that you can now go out into the world and feel good about just doing what you need to do type of thing.
I think Victoria's trying to be humble. What you really want to say is that I'm really smart. Like it's facts though. Do you know when you know that you think at a higher plane than the average person?
Yeah.
Like you're naturally gonna be confident.
Yeah.
Like especially if you know, like you said, the subjects that you've done, you were smart at school, you know that your brain works better than the average person.
Yeah.
So when you're in certain environments, especially when you're talking on the topic, like for me, I know that I'm not the smartest person in the world, but if we're talking finance, it's going to be difficult for you to be like the way I understand it, the way I live it, breathe it. I know that 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be able to add value in that situation.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when you're, like you said, when you got into those situations, you know how clever you are. So, if I think like, and sometimes I remember when I was younger, I used to have to think, not everyone thinks like you. And I couldn't understand it. I used to argue with people like, what are you thinking about? Like, why do you think this is the best decision to make? Till I had to really realize that not everybody's wired in the way that you're wired. So everyone has their own perspective. But I feel like, because you're intelligent, you think, right, if I think this, I'm not stupid. So, and whether you don't think it or not, I know I'm not stupid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that level of intelligence will help give you a certain level of confidence. But that comes from work as well.
Yeah.
Because you would have changed your mind. You would have challenged yourself. You would have done development to grow.
Yeah.
And like what is it? Books that you read? Is it podcasts that you watch? Is it videos? How do you keep your mind going so it keeps going at that level?
Yeah, I agree, actually. Yeah, I do agree. Yeah, that definitely helped me. And it does help me in so many times, because you can sit in front of someone and they might tell you something and you're like, wait, hold on. My analysis, the research I've done, my experience tells me otherwise. And then you've got the confidence in that to be like, to really push for what you want to do type of thing. So yeah, I definitely agree with that, actually. Yeah.
But to Iman's question as well, like, how do you keep in that? Like, how do you stay sharp? Basically, is it podcasts you listen to? Is it books? Or is it once again just your community? Like, is your community on that? Like, always bouncing off each other? Like, always trying to take it to the next level?
Yeah, I would say it's a combination of all of that. Like, I think it helps that when you're passionate about learning. Like, I really enjoy reading and just being up to date with what's going on. So when I would say run down a rabbit hole, I really want to know the ins and outs, but I'm also very practical. So I like to apply what I've learned right away, which I think helps it stick faster for me anyway. So I kind of know my learning style, and even if I'm like half good at something, I'll put it out there, and then it's a quick way for me to get feedback and for me to learn. So I'm a very good at. It's not easy all the time though, because you don't want to look embarrassed. You don't want to look like a dummy or anything. So when you learn something new and then you're just putting it out there and people are like, hold on, is that even all of what you need to know? You get the feedback very quickly, but it's very a vulnerable situation to be in.
Yeah.
So there's that. But yeah, I'm very good at, okay, let me just go. Like, let me literally just go, read and go, learn and go, speak to people, gain from other people's knowledge and experience. And yeah, so I would, grateful, surrounded by people who are also big on learning and growing, and they really help and motivate, I would say. And I'm inspired by them as well. I'm like, okay, cool. If they're doing this, I have got no excuse. I can't be doing something else, watching this. I need to be studied up. Like, I need to be reading up.
Yeah. No, your surroundings are so important. Who you are around. One thing we haven't touched on, which we need to get down, is the name. Where did the name come from?
Sunmo. So Sunmo, I actually prayed for the name. So I prayed that the word that, I know it's cheesy, right? But I prayed that the word I put my finger on in the Bible is the name, and I put my finger on.
It's not cheesy, by the way, but go on.
Oh, okay, cool. Thanks. I put my finger on Nia, and I'm Yoruba. I'm Yoruba and Edo, but I translated that to a Yoruba word, which is sumomi, and it means to bring people close. Sunmo was the name. I was like, okay, cool. As far as I'm concerned, I prayed for this. God's going to develop it into what I want it to be and what he wants me to be doing. So that's how Sunmo was developed. And it's all about bringing people together with health and wellness.
And does your faith play part of your confidence as well, like having the faith, like, because I think for me sometimes when I go into certain rooms, the fact that I believe in God makes me feel that much more like, even if this person wants to say no, if God said yes, you're going to say yes.
Yes.
And you're not even going to know why you said yes.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? And that gives me that extra added confidence. Do you feel like your faith really helps, I guess, in business and entrepreneurship?
Yeah, 100%. Like I put my win down to, obviously when we was on the show, we had to stay in these apartments, and it was all separate apartments in Canada Water, and there was this terrace that would all like go out to drink if we had some downtime or whatever. Whenever I might go to the terrace once or twice, but I was in my room praying and singing singing praise and worship. So I was like, listen, I think there's a combination of things. Like God is working when he knows that you're dedicating what you're doing to him, and it is your purpose that he wants you to do, right? And then at the same time, when you're reverencing him, and then it gives you that confidence to know, like, it, because you know God's behind you, he's got you. It gives you that confidence to step into a situation and be like, I've been putting in the work back there with our creator. So yeah, I'm about to win this challenge. I'm about to do, he's going to work for me even in my weaknesses and everything like that. So yeah, definitely I would say it plays a big part in my confidence, me believing I can achieve a lot of the things that I do. And even when I'm really weak, him like stepping in, I believe he's stepping in.
Yeah, you talked about the diversity card, and I remember, like, whenever I tell my story, I talk about the fact of, we had the pandemic, so everyone started talking about money.
Yeah.
And then we had George Floyd, and they were like, we need to get black people talking about money.
Yeah.
Here I am. Mm-hmm. And that's what opened the door.
Yeah.
And I haven't gone back since.
Yeah, amazing.
How do you, like, what do you think? Because a lot of people say, like, obviously, the diversity card, whether it be in work, whether it be in TV, whatever, has opened doors. But then obviously, like, now, they're not talking about the George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter and all that anymore. Do you feel like it's a good thing when there's these types of campaigns that give us opportunity? And how do you make sure, like, for you've made sure that even if that was the card they played, listen, I'm the best, so I've won.
Yeah.
How do you take these opportunities and go in and take the stuff out of your head? Like you said, I'm a woman, I'm black, I'm in these environments, I'm young. Are they going to take me? Like, how does someone take away these stereotypes? Because a lot of people at home, they might be thinking, I want to go for that promotion, but they've got, they're not going to give it to me, they'll give it to somebody from another background, or I'm going to apply for this funding, but they're not going to give it to me, they'll probably give it to someone. Like, how do you get that out of your head? And then how do you then, when you do get an opportunity, if you do feel like it is a race thing or a minority thing that you're getting opportunity, how do you actually make sure you utilize it so that now when people come to you, they don't see your race, they see the money, the opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Gordon sees the money he can make from you, that's why he wants to collaborate. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. I think that I sometimes see, there's been obviously moments in my life, but I sometimes see it as a privilege, the difference that we are, like, us being black rather than like a parent or so. I think that it's not good to be like ignorant to the fact that sometimes there can be tokenism. You could have just been hired because you're black and all of that stuff, but your results speak for themselves, and just like focus on the results and I try my best not to count myself out because of my race. Or that I'm a woman or what have you. Like, I don't like to think, maybe this thing happened because of I'm black, or because, you know, this thing didn't happen because I'm black type of thing. So I try and do that. And then, yeah, like, it's just about results. It's just about results. I love the George Floyd movement, actually, because before then, there was like an unspoken, will people buy from you as a black business? And I think a lot of us hid. Like, we definitely did hide. I remember even doing a trade show right before the pandemic, March 2019. And these guys came up to the store, and I had like a team of people working, going around the trade show. And they're all like, oh, Victoria's the founder, Victoria's the founder. So they've come and they're like, I'm Victoria. They're like, are you the founder of this? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, whoa. And obviously I looked a lot younger then as well. That was like 5 years ago. So they're thinking, this little girl, like this little black girl, there's no way. So then they're like, okay, don't put I think I had my picture. So a lot of the Deliciously Ellas and the big food players in the industry, they would have their picture as their brand's thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let me put my picture there. So I had my picture as my brand's DP at the time. And then they was like, no, take it down. People aren't going to buy from you because you're black. And I was like, yeah. And I was just like, okay. So I spoke to my team and I was like, do you think that this is the case? Because we're multicultural. My first investor is actually a white woman. So I spoke to her about it and she was like, okay, maybe let's just do it. So it was like, we was hiding, which was so annoying. Like, why do we have to hide? These white women are the face of their brands and it's making them sell. So why do I? So I was just like, whatever, we need to make money. So I think that it's good that the George Floyd movement made us, but I guess, bolder to be black businesses and people to buy from us and us not care. So, and like it'll be too cheeky for someone to say, you know, take your DP down because you're black type of thing now.
And even though some of the championing of black businesses from huge industries was just because of the George Floyd thing, like a lot of businesses didn't actually care, but I still do think that there's been that marginal gain in that because so many people are championing it. Now there's kind of like a normality around it. But you're absolutely right. It's crazy the things that like people as black business. I've heard of black business saying that I'm gonna hire a white face to be the face of the business.
I saw that. I know someone who got into Selfridges, and the thing they were doing, they used to use white hands to advertise their products, so no one ever knew it was black owned, and it worked. They got into Selfridges and they were selling. So it's like one of them things. Sometimes, like what you said, sometimes you don't have to take it personal. Someone's just giving you advice based on the situation. Like you said, it's great now that because of George Floyd, more people have become more understanding and seen it, and now we don't have to hide. But sometimes when someone gives you, like, you could have blown up and be like, how dare you say that? You went back to your investor and said, oh, this is what someone said. What do you think? Like, it's not everything we have to be offended on. No. Because someone might just be trying to give you some advice. Do you know what I mean? Trying to help you, whether you like what they have to say or not. Like you said, it's business. It's not personal.
Yeah, it's true.
I think it's a key thing to understand that at some point, it's not a good thing at all.
Yeah.
And at some point, when you get in there, it's a thing whereby now I can make a difference.
Yeah.
And be a game changer. I think that sometimes we haven't got... So unfortunately for some people, this business may be allowing you to feed your kids, so you're at a stage where whatever you're going to do works. But for the people that have got there and kind of like quote unquote made it, is at that point where you decide that you're going to be, like they say, pass the ladder down. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Are you going to be the change maker in there? Are you going to be the one that's going to like make the difference? But just to highlight something that you did, which was calculated, and once again speak to your intelligence that Iman was speaking about, a lot of people won't know what to do in that situation. You went back and asked an existing investor who was white what they think about that, because you asking them is going to help you understand what further investors who also may be white may be thinking about that as well. So key things that some people won't be speaking about. Speaking about investors, you got the £150,000 from the competition. How did you divvy that up?
What did we spend it on?
Like, did you get a Range Rover?
No, I didn't get a Range Rover. This has gone all, so obviously salaries, marketing, new product development. This has gone all of my business. Like, that's the thing about entrepreneurship that maybe people don't speak about. But when you want your business to grow, even if you've got a whole heap of money, you want to put majority of the money into the business and pay yourself like the less than what your staff are getting type of thing.
Yeah.
So that's how I operate in business anyway. That's why I think the good thing is though, when you're working with the right investor and you've got a good amount of money, they understand cost of living. They understand, okay, we can't have her living super poor. She's the founder of the business. She needs a therapist. She needs to pay for certain things, right? So they would allow you and expects you to pay yourself a decent amount. But yeah, no, that money, it went into the business. All into the business. You won't see me driving a Range Rover until I get a big TV deal.
I think one thing you said about like making a change and, you know, now being able to make a difference. I went to an event and Dean Forbes was talking, and he was like, he went to this big business meeting, and he went into the meeting and he was the only black guy in the room, and he spoke to the boss of the other company that he was going to, and he said, we can't conduct this meeting until we get some more ethnic minorities in this room. So now they've run around the whole company. They've grabbed 2-3 black people from different, like, I don't even know what their jobs are, low level. Low level, just
First day.
and brought them into the meeting. No one was there.
It's an interview. He was there for an interview. We need to borrow you right now.
And brought them into the meeting. And he was like obviously they're low level, whatever, but obviously for them, they're now experienced. They're sitting in a room hearing the talk about, these men are talking about big business deals and big money, and now they're exposed to it. And he was like, I could only do that now.
Yes.
So when people talk to him, because obviously one of the big things is like, oh, why have you done this before? He's like, I couldn't do this before. My sauce wasn't as hot as it is now. I am the flavor right now. And it's like what you're saying is that you're got to a point now, you've won this show, you can proudly talk and make difference at this stage. Like if before you have white people in front or had to hide who you were, that's okay. But it's once you get to a certain level now you can make that change, and that's what you're doing. And not only for that, not just for you, but for women as well. I feel like one of the reasons I really, really, really respect you in regards to what you do is that like you champion women and what it is, because I feel like sometimes people don't, it's not until you see someone that looks like you. And when I say look like you, I have to be careful how I say it, but what I'm saying is that like a lot of the time when you you still do fashion, you're still a black girl that black girls want to be.
Relatable.
You understand? Whereas a lot of the time when you look at, you know, women that really are successful, they've gone to the other, like they're not someone that the average woman will necessarily relate to and say from a look point of view. They might admire you from a business point of view, but not from the way you dress or the way, you know, the things you do, the places you go. But with you, it's the whole thing. It's like, yes, you're really intelligent and you really do this, but then like I see on TikTok, like you're showing all your different outfits and your fashion, and you show the other side that women can also do this, and you don't have to hide that, because sometimes it's almost like I'm a businesswoman, I'm professional, I've always got to be professional in everything I do, and become more masculine. And that's what happens with a lot of women in business. They become more masculine because they're surrounded by men, but you still allow yourself to be feminine, which is really important.
And it allows you to kind of like, sorry to jump in, it allows you to kind of like, it's funny because being able to do the fashion stuff on the side, in my opinion, it even improves the credibility of the business side. Does that make sense? Because it's like, I don't have to show business all the time for you to believe I'm a business person. Does that make sense? Like I'm going to do my things as well, but over here, it's kind of like what we saying that we don't wear suits. But we're so vetted in this thing that I don't need to wear a suit. Like I'm going to come in a hoodie and give you real game. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So
I rate that. To be honest, I think the great thing is I've got a friend actually. He does contracting. So obviously he's like, there's millionaires being made from contracting. And you know, he's like in a hoodie, all of that, like doesn't drive the nicest car, all of that. And I think it's good to be your authentic self. Like really, when we're doing entrepreneurship and whatever, business is to make money, right? So if you're making money and you can be yourself, then do that. And it's a privilege to be able to do that, to be yourself. You lot can turn up, rock up. You're still making your money, so it is what it is.
So, your business is your baby.
Yep.
And all the money that you make will go into your business first. But
Yeah.
how does Victoria spend her money?
I know.
How
It
does
goes into
Victoria
my
spend her money?
business.
It goes
It
other
goes
than your
into my
business.
How do I spend my money? I would say I sacrifice a lot of my own, like you said, my first priority is my business. So I have for many years just sacrificed paying myself to just invest in the business. When I spend my money, what do I spend my money on? Enjoyable stuff, fashion. I love fashion. I love style, holidays, but I last year I feel like I went on holiday because it was like my year 30. I need to be out, I need to enjoy, what have you. But this year I was like, no, that was a bit too much. Let me scale it back.
Entrepreneur, boy. You know what? Once you go back to now I need to knock it down.
Funny set. I was on holiday, so I went Trinidad. Yeah. One of my favorite things when I was on holiday was a conversation I had with Tayo.
I felt bad for messaging you.
He messaged me. We had this conversation. We probably talked for about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
After that talk, what I wanted to do is get back to work.
Yeah.
I told my wife, I'm ready to go home. Now.
So bad.
You see me and Tayo, yeah. See if I learn something or if I clock something.
Yeah.
He does the same. We'll call one another.
Yeah.
And you see the energy after we talk. Bro, I'm
It's
bouncing.
undefeated.
I'm like,
Bro.
I've got to go this. I've got to do this.
charged.
How do we get like? And I feel like in life, you just need people like that.
Yeah.
I'm on holiday. I'm relaxed. It was like maybe like day 4. You see, from day 4, day 7 took too long, but I
checked out.
I was gone. I'm ready to come back to the UK, and it's like, who do you have in your life that? I'm on holiday, but that was one of the most enjoyable things to be able to have that conversation and just put the phone down and feel like, I'm ready I know what I need to do now to get to that next level.
Yeah. And that's empowerment as well, because it's like, it's good when you enjoy what you do.
Yeah.
And that's the feeling of empowerment, because it's like, okay, you can be like, oh, this is how I can get, but if you don't enjoy it, you don't have that passion to be like, all right, even if I'm on holiday, I would prefer to be doing this.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. I can tell with you two actually, and Tayo really inspires me. Like every time the last Prince's Trust event, I was just like, oh my gosh, let me write down these notes. I think I spoke to you after on the phone as well.
Yeah, you spoke on the phone.
Yeah.
It's mad how we met. Actually, we actually met at was it an award show?
I'm trying to remember the first time.
It must have been the TV award show.
Oh,
yes. A few years back.
Okay, yeah.
But confident as ever. We got on straight away. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Stayed in touch. And just, like what me and Eman are talking, it's like even the conversations I'm having with you is making me think that it's like sometimes I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to myself as well. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So these conversations are really important. We spoke about what you spend your money on. I think it's so important because your business is going to take a lot of your time.
Yeah.
Business, Sunmo is your first love. How does that kind of like fan out with the rest of your life? Does it like you feel like it drains a lot of your time? What impacts does it have on the rest of your personal life?
It drains all of my time, I would say. Definitely drains all of my time. There's that balance of like obviously relationships and what have you. But I will say that it does get difficult because because I haven't got a solid, like I'm not married yet. If I'm like spending time getting to know someone, it's the sacrifice of me, this time that I'm spending to get to know you. I'm sacrificing time with my business, right? So
it's mad.
It's hard. It's hard.
No, it's mad.
It's hard, and then especially if it's like I'm not sure. Obviously, I don't mind sacrificing my time with my friends, my family, because
it's been that way.
Yeah, it's been that way. I know
interesting.
you guys are here. I know you guys were solid. We, feed into each other. I love you lot. Cool. But then when it's someone new, I'm like, okay, I don't even know if this is really gonna work. So it's a balancing act, I would say. Yeah.
It's interesting. I asked the question because I guess like my business grew with my family. I was speaking to one of my friends that's an artist, and he was an artist, and now he's thinking about relationships. And it's like this is my first love. Like, I don't even know if I can give you, like, it's like, he didn't say it, but it's almost like you're automatically like a side because my first love is man's music, basically. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So it's very interesting. And I guess it's very hard for entrepreneurs to have like time for like loads of other stuff, whatever it may be, basically, because you're just always just pouring into the business.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree. Like even when I first got investment, I was working in a private bank. I was working in Liverpool Street at the same time. And my friend, who we've been friends since then, met her at the bank, and she's like, Vicky, haven't you always been dating and stuff? And I was like, no, I really haven't, because all of the guys who would like approach you on the train or outside the office or whatever, it was like, no, I'm not even gonna, I've got this business. And then what didn't help is my first investor just like, forget boys, they're rubbish, like just forget boys. So anyone who would approach me, it was just no conversation. It didn't go anywhere. So yeah, it is a sacrifice in that sense, and that was my passion for so long, that I didn't entertain relationships really. So yeah, I get that. I get what he's saying.
It becomes difficult, man. I always tell people like me and my wife were so good now, but you see, there was a time when I started my business, it was no YXL. Like it was all about black excellence, and then obviously once the TV stuff came in and we took it to the next level, became the E-Man effect. See that transition. My focus was so much on the transition because I could see where it was taking me. Bruv, my marriage was in the pits.
Really?
Bruv, I did it.
It's hard.
I'm at the office because I was contracting. I was contracting Canary Wharf. Then I had an office in Canary Wharf. So I finished my job working for the Ombudsman in Canary Wharf. Then go to the Canary Wharf Tower. I had an office in there in Regis. And I'll start seeing clients.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then I'll finish at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, go home, 8 o'clock in the morning, back into the work. And then clients in the evening. Then I still had to film content. Then I had to...
Wow.
What? My wife can't talk to me. I haven't got... at this time, I still had like 2 or 3 kids.
Yeah.
These kids, she's thinking, bruv, at least, can you come and hold one of these kids?
Yeah.
Let me shower alone. Like, you know when you've got kids, you can't even go to the toilet without... You're in the toilet and you're keeping the door open to listen. If anything, like, you can't do anything. This woman is just like, can I just get a one break? I didn't have these kids by myself. And I'm like, can I do this company? It's going to change our lives.
Yeah.
And it was just the communication and bouncing. And it's like what you're saying is that sometimes your business just... Because you've seen it, like, and I have been in corporate. You know, you've been in corporate and these men are talking to you recklessly, and every day you go in there and someone that you know, you're not even smarter than me. You're just in a position of power, and now you've decided that you're gonna spend your day trying to make me miserable. And you just think, if I can make this business work, nobody can ever do this to me again. And so those scars that you've been through working, in corporate makes you so focused on your business and wanting to make it a success, and then you start seeing the impact. Like, and you get feedback, and it becomes like a drug. Like, it's like, oh, I love your content. Oh, this service is great. Oh, everybody should get financial advice. And I want to give everybody financial advice. You need to calm down, my guy. You need to chill out. But it's like, how do you balance it? Like, do you know what I mean? Because you, as an individual, you deserve a partner and a relationship. And as humans, we're naturally, we are naturally made to be in partnership with other people and be interactive with other people. So how do you prioritize that for yourself without isolating your business?
Yeah, exactly. So like everything that you say, I honestly, when I analyze it, a lot of the men, even women that I see that are very successful, they have that partner. And it's, especially when you've got kids, it shows like it's so important, because you had to do the focus and she was like holding it down at home.
Exactly.
Really. And that's why a lot of people in marriages, you see them thriving in business as well. Or they're just in a single stage and they don't have the kids, so maybe they've got more responsibility. So that's amazing. So whereas I'm in a stage in life where I want to have a family, I know partnership is important. Right now, because I don't have kids, I think it makes things easier for me. But even that just emotional support, I think it's so necessary. And I see that as that stability, that person who is always there to talk to, like every day, multiple times of the day. That would be lovely. So
And even just a different point of view on the
Yes.
business as well, because that's what Antoinette definitely gives me. Like sometimes, you know how I said to you that I am sometimes with staff, like sometimes I can be, no, it's not even mad, but I'm
It's
very,
mad,
very
it's
hands-on. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So
mad.
if it's not, so like, I'm just tussling with someone for no reason, innit? Like they want 100% of the payment up front, and I could give it to him, and it's not gonna affect cash flow or nothing. And I've worked with them before, but I'm telling them now 25%, and they're giving me the reason, innit? I just say, I'll just phone Aunt, I'll be, Aunt, what do you think about this? And she's like, oh no, just give them the, you know, that they started recently and blah, blah. And it gives you a different perspective, even like when it comes to creating content and that. So I think that it does help with that.
yeah,
But all in God's timing.
yeah, all in God's timing.
I was gonna say, I didn't know that you worked in private banking.
Yeah.
So this is very interesting because you knew, because you're an intelligent person, that if you leave private bank to start your own business, it's not going to be rosy.
Yeah, I know.
You're leaving behind a bag and you're starting from the ground up, and we don't know when it's going to, do you get what I'm trying to
Take off.
say? So what was that decision making? What was that transition like?
So I was scared. I was scared to jump out, and it's solo. You're going in solo. I'm a very people person, and like it's easy when you're working in an organization. You've got your tasks, you've got accountability, you have a team that you work with. I know that I'm jumping into this on my own. I've got my investors, which was great. I actually met my investors at the private bank, so that helped. But definitely I was scared. I was like worried, stressed. I think when I did leave, I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is just me, and then you're your own accountability, other than your investors who are working anyway. So it's a daunting place, which is why I do always tell entrepreneurs, I would say keep your job until it can pay you a salary. Like I wouldn't just jump straight into entrepreneurship full time. You know, there's no need. And then you can also use the skills. I know it's like, okay, what if now I spend 50% of my time on this business? If I spend 100% of the time, it can go so much further.
Yes.
I actually think working a job makes you more time efficient. Like if you have to do a certain task, okay, I only have 30 minutes to an hour to do this.
Yeah.
So either you delegate it or you're just very quick and very efficient at it. Whereas you will pay all the attention to detail to one email or to one pitch deck or whatever.
Yeah.
Now you're just like, listen, we need to get this pitch deck out in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's still effective. I reckon it's still effective.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So can I get you to drop some game for our listeners? Is that all right?
Yeah.
So you found your investor
That's what I was going to talk about.
for your company while you was employed in private bank. Talk us through that. Let the people know how you can secure investment like that and how you did it.
Everyone should secure investment that way. So, like it pays to talk. My great aunt has always said, like when I jumped in there, she was like, it pays to talk. You started this job. It was my first corporate job. Talk to everyone. So I would take everyone for a coffee. It was daunting, definitely. Like I was just like, what do I ask these people? I was very, very East London girl. And these people are like, white people, executives, live in the Cotswolds. What do we relate on type of thing? So, but anyone who would send me an email, oh, thanks so much. Do you want to go for a coffee? Like managing director, CEO, everyone. If you say yes, great. If you say no, whatever. So, I didn't initially approach to ask people for investment, but I knew I had my business running and I knew I needed investment. But then there's also the compliance piece where, you can't be asking everyone in the company, can you give me money for my business? So what I would do is I kind of built up a network outside of work with people who can potentially invest. And when I would meet with them, I would just straight up be like, I'm looking for investment basically, or could you introduce me to someone? So I would say it's like that interview process where you'll speak to so many people, you kind of fine tune what you're saying.
Yeah.
But then it was two people in the bank that invested in me, and I was too scared to ask anyone for money. So I was just like, can you be my mentor? And in those meetings, I actually wasn't looking for them to invest in my business. And I was also at a crossroads where I kind of wanted to give up on business and I wanted to go into my career full time. So when I was asking for mentorship, it was from a genuine place. So my first investor, she's a senior member at the bank, and other people are getting coffees with her. She's like one of those characters that she walks into a room and everyone stops what they're talking about, like pays attention. She's gonna dominate the conversation type of thing. So I went into this coffee with her just to ask for career advice. She's like ex-Goldman Sachs for 10 years.
Is this your first coffee with her?
First coffee
So
with
you're
her.
working with her, she knows you, you might have bounced
Yeah.
few emails and you just
Yeah.
ask her a coffee with her.
Yeah, exactly. So she's seen me in town halls. Like I really enjoy public speaking. So any town hall, if they're like, oh, does someone want to present or whatever, I would always take the opportunity to do it. And you know, she'll see me maybe in certain meetings and stuff like that. I'll take minutes or chime in where I can. And then I make it. It's actually interesting. I feel like there's more of a culture to be like, even if you're the lowest in a company in America, for you to be like, okay, hi, my name's Victoria, I'm working in da 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 da. Whereas in the UK, we're just like, we'll throw out our question. But I was like, you know, let me come with that. So I think in meetings, I will introduce myself. I spoke about the uni I went to, all that stuff. So I kind of gave people opportunity to get to know who I was.
Yeah.
So I went to the coffee with her, and she's talking, and we're discussing. I'm asking her a few questions about how I progressed in my career, and she's like, oh, what do you do outside of work? And I kind of just wanted to change the subject. I was just like, oh, I've got this plantain crisp. We were selling at market stores at the time, so I was like, I've got this plantain
before
crisp.
Gordon Ramsay show, right?
Before Gordon Ramsay, before we got into Selfridges. So Selfridges was our first store, so this was before everything.
Yeah.
We was just selling in market stores. The packaging was so different to what it is today. So I was kind of just wanted her to change the subject. I was like, oh, I've got this plantain crisp thing that I do, like, anyway. And then she was like, oh, really? I'm going to invest in you. Like, that was the first thing she said. And I was just kind of, I was, yeah, it was weird for me. I was just like, I was left speechless, because I was like, this is exactly what I want. You've got money. And, what do I say now? Like, I wasn't sure. So she was like, yeah, I'm going to invest in you. And then the conversation just changed to her talking about how we're going to launch this brand into retail and what we're going to do, how we're going to get more investors on board, all of that. So I'm just writing down notes. And we're there for maybe an hour, just her saying, we're going to do this. Okay, wait, she hasn't even tried the product. She hasn't seen the product. And she's asking me, like, how much do you make? I was making like £300 a market stall or something. It was really small. And then she's like, okay, put the products on my desk on Monday or something like that, the next day. So I've put the products on her desk, and I'm just kind of like, she's gonna see these and be like, no, actually, I lied, I don't want to invest.
That is so funny. Do you know why it's so funny? Because people be backtracking. No, I was gassed on Friday, man. Sorry. I got caught in the moment.
So I was just thinking whatever. But I'm just going with the motions. But she was like, yeah, she was adamant. So she invited me to her house in the Cotswolds and all of that, and she took my number, and I was just like, obviously this is like a white, blonde hair, blue eyes, white woman. Where do we come across each other? Where do we connect like that? And you've just met me type of thing. Like, we've just like officially sat down. And then I made, again, like taking people for coffees, I made a lot of connections in the bank. So whereas I didn't have the money to hire a lawyer, I like spoke to one of the guys from the law department, and I was like, could you write up an investment contract for me?
Yeah.
Obviously you shouldn't have done that, because it's companies' resources, whatever.
Course,
but
yeah.
It's important to network. It's important to make friends, make connections wherever you are. You never know where someone will come in handy, and where you build that rapport. So I think I just kind of built rapport with people in the bank. And so she invested, I can't remember the exact date of our conversation, but let's say a month or two after she invested. And then I had another mentor. He's a Nigerian man. And he was like, why'd you keep on going to meetings with Carla? Like, so we kept on sneaking off within the company to have our business meetings.
I'm not in my head. They're like a true Nigerian.
What's happening there?
What's going on here?
Am I missing something?
So he's like, what's this about? I was like, she's going to invest in my business. Because I told him about my business. Obviously, I felt more comfortable with him, a Nigerian man. And he was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to invest too. So then he jumped in and gave money as well. And so they were my first two investors. And I would just say, so I obviously at the time I'm just thinking I just need to secure this money. So I haven't asked them why are you choosing me? Like I'm not trying to count myself out. But maybe 6 months down the line, I kind of asked her, like, why did you give me money? Like we're talking like £70,000. You just met me. And she was just like, well, I saw you in the office and I believed in you as a person. So, yeah, that was the reason. So I would say advice, put yourself out there. Like, I enjoy public speaking, so it was easier for me, I guess. But even if you don't, like, make yourself known. If you are... Even if you're new to the company, I think sometimes you're like, you don't want to be too audacious, you don't want to be too loud, or you don't want to, like, why are you introducing yourself? We've got things to sort out. But, you know, but just introduce yourself. Like, if it's a meeting, be like, okay, anyone's got a question. Yeah, my name's Victoria, I'm from this department.
Wicked.
You know?
Love that. That's a small tip for people to have, you know. Now when people see that, oh, that's Victoria from this department.
Yeah.
It's not just, oh, it's that person. It's,
Yeah.
how do you know that's Victoria from, oh, she says it every single time she says anything. Deal with it. It's got me X amount in investment.
Yeah, literally, like, introduce yourself, then ask your question. Okay, do you know what you was talking about with this and this or whatever? Yeah, like, genuinely just get to know everyone. And yeah, I remember even going to the trading desk. I wasn't in trading. I'll go to the trading desk and I'll be like friends with the traders. They're like, oh, you're the next Levi Roots. I'm like, yeah. So they knew about what I was doing as well.
Yeah.
Like on the low. So
I think it's so important what you're saying is that, like, because at the end of the day, like, if I'm somebody that wants to invest, I'm looking for investment. But where do I find it? I only find it from people who are telling me things that I can invest in.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So if you don't speak about, and that's why I always tell people, like, I know the elevator pitch might not be great, but I always tell people, what do you want to get from networking? Like, always know what you want to get. So when I meet someone, I will tell someone, yeah, I'm Emmanuel Asuquo, I'm a financial advisor. I help people with pensions, investments, life insurance, anything like that, anything to do with your money. Come and see me. Like, even if you think it's like a basic question, just ask me and I can point you to the right direction. Do you know how many clients I've got off the back of someone just saying, oh yeah, I've got an uncle that wants to talk about money. I know it might not be anything serious. Before you know, it's 300K. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's like, actually, just letting people know the type of things that you can do and what you're up to can allow someone to say, well, even if it's not you, like I've had people refer people to me who they have no dough, but they've bumped into someone who said, oh, I'm looking for a financial advisor. You know what? This brother Emmanuel, I think he's your guy, you know? And then before you know, you've got a referral. So it's so important to speak what you do.
Yeah.
Because people are looking for investment, but if you don't allow people to know what you do, they can never invest in you. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And then you even just, again, finding a mentor, like the right mentor. Like, sometimes you're trying to find a mentor, your mentor can't help you. Like, what's the point? Like, do you know what I mean? You got to have a mentor that can actually make a difference. Even if she didn't invest, people that she will know could still invest the 70K, even if she couldn't at the time. But the point is that, and then because she invested, off the back of her being someone that Nigerian uncle respects, he said, if she put money in, I'm gonna put my. I'm not a fool. Yeah. You know us Nigerians. You know how we are.
Play.
Imagine if I always say, like, you know what? If someone starts running, I'm not waiting to ask. I'm blowing, bruv. Like, we're just like that.
There's so many analogies that anywhere they often say that anywhere on this earth where there's money to be made, you'll find a Nigerian there. It doesn't matter what country it is. It doesn't matter if Antarctica. If there's a hustle there, you'll find them.
Because at the end of the day, and that speaks volumes, like, who's investing in you. Don't just take money from people of integrity that people say, right, now, if that person is doing stuff with you, then, you know, I want to do stuff too. Do you know what I mean? But then the biggest thing, and I think this is the number one thing, is we've got to deliver. Got to deliver. Like, we are so under, I've raised. Bro, are you delivering?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you've raised that, and that's why when you say, I put my money back in my business, I see to so many people that have raised money. What have you done? I've got a new office. I've had to, bro, you've blown it on things that don't take your business to any new level whatsoever.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
exactly.
The biggest thing you need to do is, like, I've taken this money. Now I need to prove to these people that they made the right decision. Give me the money, and I need to make sure that they can see the growth and the return in their investment.
Absolutely, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's amazing, and thank you for sharing that as well.
It's a pleasure.
So one thing that we always wrap up with is that we always ask our guests, what is the W and the L of your career? Not the biggest one, just one that you can think of. So go for it, enlighten us, so you can school the people on things that they can think about, like the highlights and the lows.
Okay, I'll probably start with an L. There's been a lot. Like, I think burnout was an L, and I just don't think it was worth it. Like, it was obviously launching into Sainsbury's. It was like we was on a shoestring of money. This was before we got the investment. So I was like, okay, we need a big marketing budget, but I don't have one. So just trying to do everything to have money for the business, and it just led to complete burnout. I crashed my car. Like, that was a lot. And I just think when I look back in hindsight, I didn't need to burn myself out that much. Like, it didn't move the needle. It didn't really do much. So that was an L. So now I really put my mental health and my rest as a priority, because if I don't rest, the business doesn't work anyway. So even if I think, no, I need to work myself to the wire, it just doesn't work anyway. So that was a big lesson from that burnout. That was L. And then a win. Oh, of course, I've spoken about Gordon Ramsay. That was a win. That was definitely a
Of
win.
course, naturally.
What else? I think that discovering new products, discovering a market that you can really jump in, and getting sales, I would say is a win. Yeah, like simple things like the backbone of the business, getting the customers.
Yeah.
Win.
It's so important, right? You create a product, do the branding, whether you like the packaging or not. Like, you put it out there. Are people buying it? Are they
Yes.
coming back again? Are they sharing it with friends? Like, that's what really makes you feel like all the hard work is worth it.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the biggest win. Yeah.
Thank you, man.
It's
Thank
a
you for coming on.
pleasure.
Thank you for sharing
Thank you for having
your
me.
journey for the people, them. Guys, remember, Bread and Butter Podcast. You can catch us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you're listening on. Check us out. And big up to our guest, Victoria, for coming on.
Yeah, man. Big up, Victoria, man. Like, you're
Thank
such an
you.
inspiration. Keep being great. We're going to keep watching out for you. Is there anything anything you want to tell people to go to? Any websites? Anything you want to plug before we...
Yep. So our website, Sunmo, www.sunmohq.com. So sunmohq.com. And then our socials are all Sunmo HQ as well. So yeah, do go there, please.
Cool, perfect.
All right. So, your people, we'll catch you in the next. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what part you liked. Let us know what guests you want to get on. Who's inspiring you? Who do you feel like, yeah, will come on and you want to hear them talk about money and finance that you haven't heard before? Let us know and we'll get them on.
Absolutely. And we picked Victoria's brain today. We got her to drop a lot of game for you guys. So anything that you enjoyed listening to or hearing her story, make sure you comment below and let us know. But until next time, peace.